Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with somebody who might get something out of it. Other than that, we're going to get into it today. Today, guys, the Just for Today NA meditation is titled "The Light of Exposure." The light of exposure. These defects grow in the dark and die in the light of exposure. Recovery requires us to share our true nature with God, with ourselves, and with those around us. It doesn't encourage us to tell everyone every little secret about ourselves. It doesn't ask us to disclose to the whole world every shameful or frightening thought we've ever had. It simply suggests that our secrets cause us more harm than good when we keep them completely to ourselves. If we give in to our reluctance to reveal our true nature to even one human being, the secret side of our lives becomes more powerful. And when the secrets are in control, they drive a wedge between ourselves, our higher power, and things we value most about our recovery. When we share our secret selves in confidence with God and or at least one human being, taking care to find someone who won't personally reject us, we disclose ourselves to someone else and are rewarded with their acceptance. When this happens, we realize honest sharing is not life-threatening. This is when the secrets lose their power over us. And then the affirmation is, just for today, I can disarm the secrets of my life by sharing them with somebody I trust. And guys, there's a lot of power in that right there. And again, it's why I encourage people to go to meetings. You know, most of us feel very comfortable. And the beauty of going to a meeting, guys, is you're hearing other people share the terrible things they've done or thought or been through, and it takes some of the weight of that off your shoulders when you hear somebody else talking about stuff that or at least very similar things that you've been through. It takes a lot of the power out of that. You don't feel alone. You understand that other people are going through the same things. They might have slight different details, but the overall themes are generally the same. And it makes you feel like a part of it. You feel less excluded from the world. You feel less shame. You feel less like there's something just totally wrong with you. And again, and when people start accepting you and thanking you for your share, and then coming up and somebody that has been through something similar may come up and talk, hey, I did that, been there, I understand. Hey, I felt this, that. Guys, you get it off your chest. It's no longer this skeleton in the closet that's that's causing you all the stress and anxiety. It is a very powerful way. Not only that, but it's a good way to get you to feel good about talking about the things you've been through. Because guys, I've been shocked at how little weight these things carry after I simply cut them off my chest. I've talked about this many times. I was walking around thinking that the trials and tribulations I had as a child still had all this control over me because I was still out there making bad decisions rather than confronting them. And honestly, guys, I found as soon as I just talked about them, just admitted them, and then actually heard my brain process them from an adult point of view, they went away. Like, honestly, I've talked about this. When I first got into, come out of rehab and got into my recovery group, and even at my OBAC clinic, my doctor's office, they do the big intake interview, and they ask you all sorts of, it's an hour-long questioning process. And for the first time in my life, I was completely open and honest about everything, is to the best of my ability. Because the reason it's funny, I always wondered why they always say to the best of our ability. Because as you grow in recovery, you'll be shocked at how much your story will change. Because as you learn things and as you get some confidence and some stability and you gain perspective, you start to be able to take accountability, and you're very, very much less victimized by your stories and your part in your stories. You start to take a lot more of the honest accountability. You start worrying less about other people's part in them and just worrying about your part in them, because that's the only thing that matters. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what somebody else did. It matters what you went along with, how you felt, what caused you to do it, and then what the repercussions for you were. Like, it's amazing, and it's a very powerful perspective, and it helps you a lot. Sorry, my computer's going to go screwed up here. And whatever, anyway. Yeah, it's hugely powerful, guys, and it's worked miracles for me, and it's allowed me to grow and expand in every area of my life. But so anyway, I was as I went through this questionnaire in the beginning, I was very honest with everything, and they started giving me diagnosis that I've never had prior because I'd never been opened up before, and I was told that I was suffering from severe PTSD and extreme childhood trauma and neglect and abandonment and codependency and I guess it makes sense, but when I heard all these things, I felt very overwhelmed because I'm like, oh my God, what's going to take for me? Am I going to be, in therapy? Am I going to be, what's going to take for me to get over these things? And I was so incredibly happy to find that just by engaging with the programs they offered to me, because again, they will make recommendations based on your answers. And then just by taking everything they had offered to me, in 1 or 2 sessions, I found myself just moving past these things and letting them go, and them no longer having control over me, giving me the ability to see the patterns in my life that I was repeating, and not only that, but then to see the warning signs that were before those patterns could come into play, the situations that led me to them, so I was able to avoid those situations. Guys, life has gotten so much easier. I mean, I don't mean that like I'm on easy street. I get up every day and I work my ass off because I've got the opportunity to build a business and I want to do the best I can with this. So again, like everything else I do everything. I'm very intentional. I cut a lot out. I don't do a lot of things I used to do because they were just time wasting stupid things. Not that I'm perfect, not that I do everything smart, but I do everything to the best of my ability. And what I do is I pay attention before I act, right? I digest and I look at the opportunities in front of me, I look at the responsibilities in front of me, and I decide the smartest way to go about it, which actions I want to take. And before, I used to be a ping pong. I'll just give you an example of just getting through my day. I get more work done between 7 a.m. and 4 o'clock in the afternoon now than I used to get done from 4 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. I produce so much more labor because I'm just doing things smart. And today was kind of an off day. I was doing a job today. The scope of the job was drastically more involved than initially. And again, sometimes you just can't tell till you open things up. So I ended up having to go back to the Home Depot like 3 times for one job today. And it wasted so much time and it was so frustrating because and again, I had to just stop and understand, hey, listen, this is an oddball. There was nothing I could do. Although I suspect I can do better on the next one because now I get a better idea of what I'm looking at. I'm doing the same thing on another unit in the same building, and I will be able to streamline it tomorrow. But as I caught myself getting frustrated, I stopped and I thought about it. I said, well, did I prepare myself as best I could? I said, well, yeah, I made a couple of mistakes, but I recognize those and I won't make them in the next one. And everything else was just, it's a different situation than I was initially told about. And as I opened things up, I realized there's a lot more than I needed. Now, honestly, I could have stayed and opened up more and saved myself maybe one trip back. And again, that's what I'll do next time, okay? Boom, I took my lesson from that. I learned it. And I let it go, and I realized that most of it was a fluke. It was the job was just it wasn't explained properly. The person explaining to me did not know all of the variables involved, and I thought that they did, so maybe I could have communicated with them better. But see, I won't repeat that again. I will now take the lessons, I will take that information, and I will apply it and move on from there. And that's the difference today, guys. That's what I do today, because it used to be I'd do the same job 15 times, and yet I'd run back and forth picking up one thing at a time instead of playing it out and saying, okay, when I get done here, the next step is this. Do I have everything I need for the next step? And then after that's this step. And I just couldn't handle that. I'd get overwhelmed, and it was just too much for me to do. Today, that's not the case. I get up in the morning, before I leave the house, I look at what I have, and I go to the office, and I pick in the warehouse, and I pick up all the tools, all the stock that I can. I make lists, I make diagrams, and then I pick through and see, do I have, what do I not have with me that I'm going to need? And I try to get about 10% extra of anything in case there's any issues. And because of that, I'm able to do way more work in a way shorter period of time than I've ever been before. And then because I'm charging my worth and I'm doing much better quality work, I'm making much better money at it. So guys, it's the culmination of all these things, right? But it's all because I'm willing to look at the mistakes in my past and then talk about them, because I don't always have all the answers. But when I share my mistakes in my past, my honest actions, and my honest thoughts, other people are able to give me honest input on them, and I learn from those, and I don't have any shame for it. I mean, yes, You guys hear me talk about this all the time. I've made more mistakes, bigger pitfalls, dumber moves, more self-inflicted pain and trauma than any average 100 people put together. And I take full accountability for it today because I wasn't allowing myself to heal. And because I've done that, guys, my life is skyrocketed from where I was. It is shocking how quick things are getting good in my life. Things have been good since the day I got home. Every single day I've had sober is 1,000 times better than any day I had because I turned my will over to God. I started to want to be part of the solution and actually take hardcore action. And the biggest issue that I had, the first thing I wanted to tackle was my self-deprecation, my self-hatred, my lack of self-respect, and my lack of self-worth. And God handled that for me, showed me ways to feel good about myself. And again, I still make mistakes, but my higher power, God, is there to pick me up every time I do. And it is amazing to me. There's been a couple of big things that have happened during this recovery that should have and would have in the past set me way back, and they haven't affected me in any way, shape, or form because the totality of all the good that I'm doing has overweighed the bad. And in every situation where it could have gone bad, somehow, some way, there was something attached to my recovery there to show the light of my goodness today, of the good things that I've done today, and it saved me. And that's the thing, guys. That's why you do it to the best of your ability. That's why you do it to everybody. You do it, But again, it starts with, in the early days, it's really tough to talk about some of the traumas that we've been through. So you find a therapist, find a professional, find a clergyman, a medical professional, find somebody under a HIPAA law that can't use it against you, or find a trusted friend or family member that you truly trust and they want your highest good. You don't want to just go out there and spill your guts to anybody early on because they might still be using, they might want to use against you. You want to be very careful about that. But you got it, and that's why I suggest being part of a meeting. Find a home group, find a good meeting, because there's people there that are worrying about their own stuff. They're not there to worry about your stuff. We walk into these meetings in the very beginning. I know I certainly did, and I was like, oh, people are going to horrify. No, people have their own stuff to deal with. They're only looking for the good, and yet they're taking the time to reach out and let you know it's okay. And then, honestly, there's going to be at least one other person there that's been through something similar, and they're going to come over and tell you it's okay. You can get through it. They're not going to minimize your pain. They're not going to minimize anything that's happened because that's just, taken away from anything you're going through. But they're going to let you know that as hard as it is and as bad as it may be, you will get through it. It won't necessarily be easy, but God will never give you more than you can handle. And you'll never get to the bottom of these things if you're not honest with yourself, honest with your higher power, and then find a place where you can be honest and open about them in a more than just yourself and your higher power setting. The more the more you feel comfortable and the bigger the setting, the bigger the rewards are going to be, guys. It's just, that's just the way life is. We all know this, right? I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't know, but these are very important things, guys. These are the things that I have taken to heart in my life, and they are the reasons that I love my life today. And it's getting better and better. Like a few months back, I'm like, wow, I got into Harvard, I got my truck, I got my business. Like, how much better can it get? I got a couple dollars in the bank. And I had no idea, because that's the best I could handle at that point. But as I've gotten better, like I thought I was at the top of my game, I'm as good as it can get. No, I've challenged myself to step up, and again, now I'm starting to see what people meant by, I had so much untapped potential. Because one of my strengths is, I'll share a little bit, and I try to keep these down because I'm not trying to come off as braggart and cocky, but this is a simple fact. I'm one of those people that anything mechanically, I'm extremely mechanically inclined to the point that it's almost supernatural. I can literally watch somebody, like I lay tile today like a pro. And it's because I've been around tile jobs. Never helped on one, never followed the steps, never had somebody break down what it takes. But if I'm around something for any length of time, I just absorb it, and suddenly I can turn around and do it. It's the same with electrical, same with plumbing, the same with heating, same with, window sidings and floors. And the thing it is, guys, because I was out there doing this all this time, now I've opened my business and I expanded beyond plumbing and heating into basically property maintenance, property management. And instead of having to go out and hire 7 contractors, all these property owners are hiring me and giving me more and more work. And they're shocked, and because of that, like the job I'm doing right now, it started out to be a 4-day job. I've been there for 12 days, not because it's taken more time, because he's added that much more work. the initial scope of the job was something like $2,500. We're up over $6,000 now. Like, it's beautiful, but it's all because he's amazed that I'm able to do as many things as I can, and I make sure I do them all properly, do them all to the best of my ability. I won't touch something I don't know how to do. I may never have done it before, but I know how to do it, and I'll make sure it's done right, and I'll double check, and then I'll immediately get comfortable with it. And it's why I'm expanding to so many new areas, and it's opening up more and more doors of opportunity for me. I'm now going to apply for my EPA license for heating and air conditioning, or for air conditioning, because I've never worked with anybody. I've worked on air conditionings and 18-wheelers. It's the same thing, but I've never done it on the commercial construction side of it, or the residential side of it, I should say. And now it's one more thing I'm going to be able to do. I already have the equipment. I'm just going to buy the tank and the gauges. And that's big money, guys, and it's more work. Instead of having to wait and call somebody, I'm already there on the job diagnosing it. Now it's one more repair I can make and one more thing I can get paid to do. But again, none of these things would have ever come to light if I hadn't been willing to share my dirty little secrets in the beginning, share the mistakes that I made of my past, share the failures of my own thinking, and share the failures of my actions. By being willing to share these things with God, He's put me in positions where I can learn the answers, and with sharing them with other humans around me, it's opened up doors of opportunities, and I'm able to heal those things. And that's the most amazing thing, guys. My life is truly blessed today because I continue to do the work and take these lessons to heart. I'm going to end the video there. I actually got a text from somebody while making the video that somebody's in a bad spot from my A group. I'm going to reach out and see if I can help somebody. One more way to be of service, guys. Thank you all so very much for being here with me, and it means the absolute world to me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.